Being held the third time in Vietnam, Contemporary Dance Festival 2013 in Vietnam has attracted 7 member countries instead of 3 at the first time organized in 2011. With the theme Europe meets Asia, this year's dance festival not only includes European and Asian performances, but also introduced to the public the works of European-Asia cooperation. Opening for this year's festival is a play called Underground with the cooperation of the Belgian choreographer John Bettman and Nguyen, a member of Vietnam National Opera and Ballet. The play was seen as a journey into the earth, the mysterious life of the people underneath, and a life that never stops.
Còn thực ra thì trong cái tác phẩm lần này thì nó cũng không phải là một cái thông điệp hoặc là một cái gì đấy nó quá lớn. Đấy, thì cái ý tưởng của John đưa ra thì là đấy làm về cái gọi là cái gọi là underground, thì có thể mình gọi là ngầm, thì một cái gì đấy thì ở đây thì chỉ là mình cùng nhau tìm kiếm cái gọi là cái trải nghiệm về mặt cơ thể.
Hello, you're watching Sang Vietnam on VTC10 Net Viet. Life underground actually means the animal life as anyone think of at the first time. But it is not true in today's program, as we present to you the most outstanding performance of Vietnamese and the European dancers on stage that represents the human life underground. So this is such an interesting story that we have invited the choreographer John Bettman to join our program today to share about this interesting story. So, hello, Mr. John Bettman, and thank you very much for joining us today. So, Mr. John, first of all, can you tell us what brought you to Vietnam this time?
What brought me to Vietnam this time was working with Duc, who is a friend from since a long time, and this time it brought me here because we've been saying to each other via email, we have to work together one more time. So this is the time. So this is what brings me back this time around. So.
This is the first time you and Duc, Vietnamese dancers, work with each other for the same performance, underground dance. So can you tell us why did you choose the underground dance as the first dance performance with each other and to represent to the Vietnamese people?
We chose this for the title we chose for the lack of space. The lack of space, when you're dancing in a space that's reduced, when you have a little room, there are lots of people, not much room. The place you get that the most is underground. So this is why, I mean, it was makes mainly my choice of title, underground. And underground works better in English than it does in French. Sous terre doesn't work. It works better in English. So for the both of us, it was a good idea to work on restricted space, restrictive movements, lots of effort for not much output. So you have small movements that take a lot of energy, which is when you're underground in a tunnel or in a cave, you have to use lots of energy for not much.
So a Vietnamese and a European dancer working with each other. So how did you two work with each other to perform together on the same stage?
The main thing we did was I would work on movement phrases for Duc, and then I would film of me moving how I move, and then I would send it via mail to Duc, and I would say, learn this phrase. And then when I came to Vietnam, to Thaï Nguyen in July, we put the phrasing together, and then when we came back in September with the 2 girl dancers, we changed the structure of the movement. So what Duc and I did, we all did, but not necessarily in the same time. So it was more like a jigsaw puzzle, like a Rubik's Cube. We take this bit, and then we take this bit. We take this away, put this bit in. So this is how we worked mainly, with ideas, small sections, small movement sequences.
So through the underground dance about the Vietnamese people life underground, so is there any messages you like to convey to the Vietnamese audience through the performance of the European dancers and the Vietnamese dancers?
I like to try and surprise people. I like to try and surprise people, so we go to a place that you would not normally think of. You go to in my dance, I always like to try and be somewhere where you don't expect me to be, which is what I think is constant movement. I like constant movement, moving when it doesn't move anymore. It has to move. For me, it has to move, even when you're standing still. There is always something moving. There is something connecting. Connecting with the people, even with solos, you're not there alone. You're not there alone. So this is what I try to work on in my dance.
Inspired by historical facts in some tunnels, choreographer John Bateman and Nguyen gave the audience the chance to think over the theme underground. The show took place on September 25th in Hanoi recently and crowded by a lot of audiences. Underground is a journey into the heart of another aspect of the earth, aspects of the mysterious life of those that live under the ground. A life that never stops, that cannot be separated and changes constantly. Starting from this idea, the Vietnamese and the European dancers have thought it through to illustrate the idea of underground life under their dance movements.
Đầu tiên nó chỉ là đến từ trong cái tưởng tượng. Thế thì cái bản thân người ta hình dung cái cuộc sống ngầm đấy nó ở trong các cái đường ngầm. Thế thì cái việc mà con người ta sinh hoạt rồi làm mọi thứ nó như thế nào. Thì ở đây thì từ cái ý tưởng đấy thì là bọn mình tìm các cái động tác với nhau. Vấn đề nó không phải là mô phỏng lại cái cuộc sống đấy, mà chỉ là mình trải nghiệm lại những cái cảm giác như thế bằng các cái hành động, bằng cái ngôn ngữ múa của mình.
Like stalking, hiding the view, and reappearing in the unexpected places, the dance is built as a collection of repetitive movements that is always pressed for lack of space. The crawling movement from one place to another, always blending, never standing straight, but relaxed gently, like water flowing around the tunnel. This is the picture of Vietnamese people life underground, in the tunnels or roads in urban areas.
Personnellement, oui, je pense parce que
in Hanoi and everywhere in Vietnam, it moves all the time. The traffic, people move, the way people cross the roads. For me, the motorcycle reminds of the bank of fish. They move all the time. Even though it doesn't move, it still moves all the time.
Son chemin, sans jamais vraiment penser, regarder ce qui se passe autour, comme des insectes dans leur tunnel, dans leur.
Vietnamese and European artists seem to have been quite successful when making movements like ants moving underground in a non-stop journey, or as bees applying with a dance. They met, stayed together, rest together, without stopping or maybe just to take a breath, like a living population or as a continuous wave. The dance goes without music and use real-life sounds so the audience can see, watching, just enjoying the real sense of blending strength of Vietnamese people underground. You and Đức have worked with each other for a couple of weeks to prepare for this dance and perform in Vietnam. So this dance is all about the underground life of the Vietnamese people underground. So until now, what you have learned and what do you think of the Vietnamese people, especially the life of those underground?
I think Vietnamese people are very singular in their wish. They're very, if they wish for something, it will happen. But they're very focused as a people, I think. And they can put up with a lot of hardships. So as a people, I think the Vietnamese are very, very focused.
So the Vietnamese dancers and the European dancers, you two work with each other on the same stage. So is there any differences you see between the two Vietnamese and the European dancers?
Between any dancers, between English, French, German, Vietnamese, Chinese. Everybody has a different story. Everybody has a different story. What I have in my head, Duck does not have in his head. Duck has, his childhood was something completely different to what I will ever know. And my childhood is, what I have lived is completely different. So everybody has their differences and their story to tell. I've known Duck a long time, so for me there is no difficulty at all. It can be different, it can be difficult. Language barriers can be difficult, but because we have worked together before, there's no difference. Between Duck and I there is no difference. I know other dancers here that used to work at the Nguyen. When you're a professional, you're a professional. There's no, you're half a professional, you're not. You either are or you aren't. Right? So when it comes to this level of working, of saying I would like to work with this person, it's a two-way street.
So this is the first time you and Duc work with each other on the same stage. So is there any future plan for you two to work with each other to bring more the life of the Vietnamese people and present to the world? We have performance in France in 2014. So Duc has to come to La Rochelle, and we dance at the Centre Chorégraphique National in La Rochelle. So we have another date for this, for the Année Croisée France-Vietnam, 2014, and hopefully some more. So you never know. You never know what this festival can bring to. Somebody will say, oh, this might work in, I don't know, in Hue, in Ho Chi Minh, in Singapore, it doesn't matter. It's showing people what you can do as two different cultures working together to do something that you both enjoy doing. And once again, thank you very much, Mr. John Batman, for joining our program today. And we hope that you enjoy the time in Vietnam, and we hope that your performance in Vietnam is a great success.
Oh, you're very welcome. Yeah.
And with that, we have to wrap up our program for today. For comment and feedback, don't hesitate to write to us at soangvietnam@vtc.vn. And once again, I'm here. Goodbye for now.